Hello, today I'm doing a review on the second episode of season 4 of Sherlock. It was called The Lying Detective, and there will be spoilers in this video, so if you have not watched the episode yet, go watch it because it was really good. So let's get started. First off, if you hear some meowing in the background, that would be my cat trying to snuggle with me even though I'm trying to get stuff done. This is Essels, my kitty. I love her a lot. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so the episode overall was insanely good. I don't even know where to start. I guess at the beginning, it starts with John going to therapy and trying to talk through everything that happened, but not really doing so. And you learn pretty early on in the episode that he is seeing Mary in his mind, which made me really sad. And then Sherlock, what's going on with him is that he is high, very high, and he's taking this case of this girl who was talking about how her dad said he was going to kill someone, but she doesn't know who or if he's done it because she can't remember. And that was all very odd. And Sherlock spent the night with this girl and talked about her case, blah, blah, blah. And I really liked that little sequence because one, Mycroft's tracking him after he had after he had left his flat. That was hilarious, and how he wrote out the words with his with where he was going. That made me laugh. And then I think one of my favorite parts of the episode is the speech that Sherlock gives when they're standing. She's sitting on the bench and he's standing by the railing, and he's talking to her, and he says, your life is not your own to take, and he has that whole speech, and I just thought that was like it was just such good writing. It was just amazing. I loved that part. And then as the episode went on, Sherlock and John met again, and because one of the other best moments of the episode is Mrs. Hudson kidnapped Sherlock at gunpoint and then put handcuffs on him and then put him in the trunk of her very fancy car, which made me laugh. I thought that was hilarious. And she brought him to John and she said, you know what, you have to fix him. The rest of us can't. It has to be you. And so Sherlock goes on and is talking to John, and John's like, how'd you know I was going to be here? Blah, blah, blah. All that. And then Molly shows up, and that's when they go to meet the scary guy whose name I have already forgotten. And then once they were with that guy that Sherlock was so sure that was a crazy serial killer, which he was, to be fair, they go through that, and they I kind of understood Sherlock's plan, but not really. I don't know what he was doing entirely. I definitely have to rewatch the episode, as I do with pretty much any Sherlock episode, because there's just so much in a 90-minute time span that you just have to watch it a few times to really absorb everything. But that part was all very interesting. I liked it. I was confused a little bit, but I think the biggest thing that stood out for the beginning, like half or so of the episode, is how sort of broken up Sherlock was after all this. And John was upset too, but in a different sort of way. And Sherlock, we've seen it before, how he handles something like this. He sort of isolates himself, and he uses again, and so it was very sad to see him like that, to see him sick like that. It made me sad, and I think that added to the confusion of the episode for me, because and I think that was the purpose too, is because he was a little bit confused himself because of the drug sort of hazing his vision. But it was still, I liked the way that they did that. I liked that it was a little bit confusing and disorienting, because I think it really reflected how Sherlock was feeling a lot. And some other stuff happened. Sherlock and John were still sort of fighting, but making their way towards making up. And again, John is going through the whole episode seeing Mary in his mind, which every time she said something, it would just make me so sad because she's gone, and all the characters have to deal with that. There were some things she said, though, that were pretty funny. She kept telling Sherlock to put on the hat, which made me laugh. And then the big part at the end of the episode was Sherlock had devised this plan to catch the serial killer guy, but also Mary had come up with the plan, part of the plan, in order to get John and Sherlock like back together in a sense. And while it was an extreme plan, it worked mostly, so okay. But I do think Mary was right in that there's no other way he would have accepted help. He had to be helping Sherlock. But I liked the scene at the end where after the evil guy had been taken away from the police, and Sherlock was like sort of explaining, like, this is what was supposed to happen, and this is after John had seen the DVD that Mary had left Sherlock, which was another really sad scene. I liked they didn't really they didn't talk a lot in that scene, but Sherlock just explained, this has been the plan. And John, of course, was like, are you serious? Like, really? Couldn't you just talk? But, not that he would have responded to just talking anyway. But I liked that end scene. I thought it was a pretty heartfelt moment, but still very much true to their characters. And then there were two sort of big things that happened within the last 10-ish minutes of the episode. And one of those is that everyone else found out that the woman was alive. When her text ringtone went off, I about flipped a lid. I did not expect that. And I hope that means one day soon we'll get to actually see her. That would be fantastic. I really did like her character. While I'm not super into shipping the woman and Sherlock, I guess it would be fine, but I'm over here still rooting for Molly. She's been here the whole time, just saying. I think it would be interesting to see her come into their lives again, especially into Sherlock's, because I think he's at a turning point character-wise. He started off sort of, on the outside he seemed very cold and analytical and was very, Sherlock. But I think he's definitely grown out of that by hanging out with John all these years, and with the rest of the characters, with, Lestrade and Molly and Mrs. Hudson. I think he has learned a lot from them, and I think he's letting out what he has sort of been on the inside for so long, and it's starting to show on the outside. Like Mrs. Hudson said, which I really liked, she said, he's all emotion. He's not like Mycroft. He may be a genius like Mycroft, but he processes things a lot differently than his brother, and he really does feel emotion, even if it doesn't always seem like it. I liked that concept a lot, and I like that Mrs. Hudson is the one that noticed it and talked about it. And I liked the little scene where John was like, she's alive and she's texting you. You need to text her back. I thought that was a very sort of bittersweet moment, because I was, one, really excited that the woman was being brought back into the plot line, but also really sad because it was really showing how upset John was. But that was interesting. And it was Sherlock's birthday, which was cute. I liked that. I had never even thought about that. We've never seen Sherlock's birthday. We've never seen John's either. But then the biggest reveal of the episode at the very end, when John was in another therapy session and his therapist was saying, oh, you look like you're better, blah, blah, blah. And then it was not his therapist, actually. It was It was Sherlock and Mycroft's sister, which was a big surprise. It wasn't so much a surprise that the Sherlock and Mycroft had a sister rather than a brother. It's not that insane to think. I mean, I feel like I had considered that myself, thinking about if they had a third sibling. I just did not expect her to be all of those people. She had been the fake daughter that had brought the case to Sherlock, and John's therapist, and the girl that had flirted with John. I feel like I should have noticed because it was the same person the whole time, but I didn't, and neither did anyone else. It was a big twist, and I like the idea that she is sort of what can go wrong when you have that much genius in your head. Like with Mycroft and Sherlock, they have both sort of used their powers for good in a way. Like Sherlock solves crime and Mycroft does whatever he does. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see like the other side of the coin and see their sister be completely different than them, but also just as smart and stuff. So I'm really, really interested to see her character and see how it plays out, and see her talking to Sherlock and Mycroft and seeing what happens. And obviously the episode ended on a big cliffhanger with her pointing the gun at John and shooting, but we don't know if she shoots or if he gets hit. Based on the commercial, I think he's fine. He was running around for next episode. That is all I have to say for this episode. I feel like I rambled on for quite a while, but there was a lot that happened in this episode, and it's insane. I cannot wait for next episode, but I hope you enjoyed my review. I definitely love talking about them. I'll have new videos coming about other stuff as well, and a review for next week's episode, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!